So I'm already going to be starting on washed hair. I use the Curl Pantene Curl Perfection shampoo and conditioner, and I'm going to be using the Infra collection. This is my second time using it. To see the first time that I used it, you can check out my video, which I'll link above, and my channel. And I'm going to go ahead and take this t-shirt off. I always use a t-shirt to dry my hair to prevent breakage. Another thing I always do is I part using my fingertips instead of a comb. It's just more convenient to handle my hair with my fingers instead of a comb. I do use a comb sometimes, but it's only in certain situations. So I'm just parting my hair into sections, and I'm going to use some clips. And this is just to prepare my hair for what I'm about to do. It just makes it easier to go through the process. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel if you like natural hair tips, and also if you like product reviews for natural hair. There are also other things on my channel that I go over as far as fitness, health tips, recipes, among other things. Explore when you get a chance. Also take a moment and like this video if it's not too much trouble for you. I really appreciate it. And also share this video with others if you find it helpful. Now I've sectioned it into 9 sections, and I'm going to start with the back. Sometimes you get a little piece that didn't get in there quite good, so I'm just sticking it back up into the clip. And the first thing that I'm going to put onto there is the straight guard. It doesn't take much. I'm just going to use 1 pump. See, it's not that much. I'm just going to start from the tip and work my way up to the root. Evenly distribute it as much as I can. Then just going to work it on in there as much as I can there. And this is just a wide tooth comb, starting from the tip, working up to the root. You want to be as gentle as you can with your hair. And I did detangle my hair before I washed it. So what I'm doing here is the stretch method of drying it, where you just pull the hair and you blow dry it. Then it should stay in this position once I let it go. So it's not going to be hard to do. It's not where you put the blow dryer, you put the comb in the blow dryer and you just comb through it with the comb connected to the blow dryer. This is just the stretch method. And it's the method that I use whenever I blow dry my hair. It does take a little bit of patience, but it's worth it, just to make sure that you're not, again, tearing your hair or anything like that. It just makes it easier to manage, because the combs that come along with this, sometimes they have little snags in them and that can pull on your hair. As you can see, it's stretched. So I'm going to do all my hair like that. And as you can see, I'm almost done. So I just cut away and came back and showed you that I'm almost done here. The last time that I did this video with the Infra collection, it was last November, and this is November. It was last November 2017, and now it's November 2018. But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll Got a long ways to go. That was just me being silly for a moment, but now I'm gonna go ahead and get back to it. I'm gonna put the iron guard on each section, starting with this one, working it from root to tip, making sure it's evenly distributed. And this part is basically the part that protects the hair from the heat, because I do not want any heat damage. This is the second part that protects it from the heat and helps it to be a little silky, and that's the silk infusion. And you don't need much, just about a dime size. And you work that from the root to the tip. So once I have that on there really good, work it on in. I'll go ahead and get my rat tail comb out, and I'll part it. But before I do that, I'll go ahead and get my Denman brush and brush it from the tip to the root, which is backwards from the way that I applied the product, because this is just reinforcing the product, making sure that I got everything on the hair from the root to the tip, working it all the way in. Now comes the fun part. I'll be using the Lisa Ray Red Pro, and I'll put a link in the video below in case you want to check it out. I got it about 2 Christmases ago for my husband, and it works pretty good. And I'll be using the chase method. And I like to use the chase method because it makes sure that you get every strand, especially the tips of the hair. Because when you comb through your hair, you don't want these little balls of snags at the tip of your hair. And it also helps with flyaways and everything like that. I only straighten my hair 1 to 2 times a year, and in this case it was only once this year. This is the first time I'm straightening my hair since last year. Last year, same month. And the reason that I do straighten my hair is to, number one, to cut and trim my ends, which I do trim my ends while it's curly. I have a certain way that I do that when it's in individual twists. And if I see that it needs to be trimmed on the tips, I just go ahead and cut the little bit of split ends that I see on the tips of the twists. I just cut it off as I go along during the year, if I see where it needs to be clipped at. But when I straighten my hair, that's when I actually do the main trimming. Another reason is to check the length of my hair to see the difference in growth, to see if I need to change anything that I've been doing. As far as my regimen, do I need to change the products that I've been using? Do I need to possibly change any vitamins, or change my eating habits, or consult my doctor if I'm taking any pills that may have changed the thickness of my hair, or you just want to reevaluate what you've done since the last time, if it's a negative change. If it's a positive change, you want to keep that going because you're going in the right direction with hair growth and hair thickness and hair health. So that's the biggest reason why I do it. I want to check my hair length, hair health, and also trim my ends. But what I like about recording what I do is to keep my followers up to date and also keep myself up to date, because I can look back on how far I've come. And it's nice to look back on how far I've come, because when I go back to my very first video that I've ever done on YouTube, I can see what happened when I first did my transitioning, and when I cut off the last little bit of transitioning hair, which was about a little less than 2 inches that was left to chop off, and my hair was really short. So here we are at the last little bit of hair that I had to straighten, and believe me, it did not happen as fast as this video is showing you guys. This took forever. My arms were tired, my back was tired, and it was hurting, and I'm telling you. But it was worth every minute of it, because as you can see, I can run my fingers through my hair, and I do see a huge difference from the last time that I straightened my hair. Again, this is me being silly. It's time to trim my hair. And this is after I trimmed my hair. I don't cut a lot off, I just cut what's necessary. Unlike some of the people in the salon, no shade you guys, but sometimes I feel like they cut off way too much of the hair. And the last time when I know not the very last time, but I know I had a bad experience one time when I was around 16 years old. I went to go get my hair styled and cut, and I came out of there and I about didn't have any hair on my head, and I was like, you know what? No, I'm not letting nobody else cut my hair anymore. So I did end up going to cosmetology school and took that as a trade. I didn't finish, but I did go and learn a lot. I learned a lot, but it just wasn't for me. A lot of the things that I do, I know how to do, but I'm just not into the technicalities of what it takes to be someone who works in a salon. But I can do other people's hair. I know how to dye people's hair. I know how to trim people's hair. I know how to curl hair. I know how to style hair. I know how to do braids. There are a lot of things that I know how to do. You can check out some of my videos on how I do my own hair. I like to do my own hair, but I will let other people in my hair sometimes. It just depends. But this is the process where I wrap my hair. Wrapping my hair once I get done trimming it is the key to getting it to lay down. And I wrap it with my Denman brush. I know a few moments ago I was just rambling, but I just like to talk. But I'm wrapping it with my Denman brush to make sure that I get down to the root of my hair. You want to get all the way down to the root of your hair when you're wrapping it. And it actually feels really good to your scalp when you get down to the root when you're wrapping it. And it helps it to lay down really good. And then you put your stocking cap on, and that reinforces it laying down. But I'll go through this process with you as I did in the last time I did this video. It's the same exact process that I did before. And I'm almost done here. I use 2 different brushes to wrap my hair. A Denman brush and a bristle brush. In my last video, I I speeded up this process. In this video, I chose not to speed it up. And this is the bristle brush that I use. And this is just to reinforce what I've done and press it down closer to my head. Because a dimming brush is not meant to press it down. A dimming brush is meant to lift and get down to the root. This is meant to press the hair against the scalp and lay it even closer. So as you can see, it's getting closer to the scalp and laying down even more than it was. And another key to making sure that you lay your hair down when you're doing this is to follow with your hand. Press down with your hand as you go. So the last step before I put my stocking cap on is to pull out my trusty gel that I always use, and it doesn't take much, that's why I still have some. Oh yeah, I forgot. I do this step first, guys. I put a little bit more of that Silk Infusion around the edges for shine. Just around the perimeter of my head for shine. And once I get that on, then I pull out my trusty gel after I brush that in. And it's the Naked gel. And I used that same gel in my last video. And it's just for the edges of my hair. And I think you can order this, if I'm not mistaken, off of Amazon. I'll link it below. It doesn't cake up. You won't have any white residue, any flakes or anything like that from it. And it blends right on in with the Silk Infusion. It's not greasy and it's not flaky. It just does what you need it to do. It just helps everything to lay down. And I just use about a dime size every time, a little less than a dime size every time I use it. Each time I, add a little bit more, and then I brush it on in. And I just use it just around the edges of the front, and then I put a little bit more just in the back of my head, around the nape, as they say in that kitchen. So, you want that kitchen laid too. And then you just brush it on in. And come on up around them ears. I would say this entire process from beginning to end, washing it, blow drying it, straightening it, because my hair is super thick, basically took me about, I'd say about 5 hours, because I kind of kept stopping because I do have a 4-year-old who needs my attention. And I also, I take care of her and make sure that her needs are met. So, yeah, it took me about 5 hours. And that's also another reason why I don't straighten my hair all the time. But this is the stocking cap that I use. Last time I used the purple one, but I've got me another one since then. And I make sure that the part where it's actually sewn is on the outside, and the flat part is on the inside. That's what I was just showing you. And you just set it on top of your head, and you go in the same direction that you wrapped your hair in, and you kind of turn it just a little bit, and you make sure that it's wide on both ends. You make sure it's wide because you don't want any lines in your head. You just reach up under there and make sure it's wide. And then you pull it around the front. You do the same thing in the front. You make sure it's wide and you cross it. You do not tie it tight, because if you tie it tight, then number one, your head's going to be hurting, and number two, you'll get those lines. So I always make sure I can fit 2 fingers in the back, and that lets me know I don't have it too tight. And the last thing I do is I grab my other stocking cap. Y'all, I'm so sleepy right now, I promise you. And I put it over top of this one. This is a new stocking cap that I got. It has a band around the edges which holds it more secure. And I go to sleep. Now this is the next day. I've applied my makeup. Now it's time to take my hair down. And you just comb with a wide tooth comb in the same direction. That's how you start out, just combing in the same direction as you wrapped it, just to loosen it up some. And then you can just start combing it straight down. And another thing that wrapping it does is it helps kind of mold it to your head and helps give it just a little bit of a bend at the ends, instead of you having to actually go back in and flat iron your hair again to put the bend at the ends. No need to apply extra heat if you don't have to. So that's another thing I don't like to do, is apply extra heat to get the bend at the ends of the hair when you don't have to. So wrapping it takes care of the bend at the end. It's been so long since I've been able to just like comb through straight hair. It feels kind of weird. But it feels nice. And the longest I keep my hair straight, the longest I have kept my hair straight, which was last year, was about a month. I started out straightening my hair with Ite, and I kept it straight for 2 weeks, and then I did the Infra collection, and I kept it straight for another 2 weeks, and then I reverted it back to curly. And all of those videos can be found on my YouTube channel. And I can definitely tell a difference. My hair has grown a lot. And I will be inserting a side-by-side clip, which is also going to be found on my Instagram and my Facebook page. The MomsCanBFit Instagram and Facebook page. So you guys will be able to see that. But I'm going to insert it in this video too, so you can see the difference a year can make. But I can tell you a couple of things that I did do different. I've been taking Nature's Bounty extra strength hair, skin, and nails vitamins, and I've also been using Mielle hair products, along with some of the Shea Moisture and TGIN products. The shampoo and conditioner has been pretty much the same, but those are the only things I remember changing. And I haven't been in my hair much. I've been doing a lot of protective styling. So just for good measure, I'm gonna add some of the Shea Moisture Daily Hydration Finishing Oil Serum. This time I was able to get a lot of the poofiness out.